Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Suzerain, where it's time for us to face the music on our current political situation. I walked to the White Room with a cup of coffee in my hand. My Vice President had scheduled a meeting on the current political situation. I opened the door and entered the room. Lucian immediately stood up. Good morning, sir. Good morning. I wanted to provide you with some quick updates on the current political situation. He put out a few documents from a briefcase and laid them on the table. Mr. Hall has reported to me that he has almost finished drafting his new plan for the economy. He said that he wanted to solidify the plan before it's presented to you. He will schedule a meeting soon to go over our options. Uh. Simon can pull it off. He's never failed us before. Mr. Hall is exceptionally skilled. I am sure he will deliver as well. He closed the folder and put away the documents. Moving on. Next, it's time to talk about our election prospects. Lucian took out a new set of documents. I caught a glimpse of colorful charts and graphs. I have just received the results of a voter poll commissioned by Peter Vectron shortly before his departure. To put it in plain language, your results are mediocre. We shouldn't take it for granted that we'll win this election. I never took it for granted. We will have a year to gain more votes, but we've got to think strategically. Fortunately, your new vice president also happens to be an excellent strategist. Horrible drinking buddy, though. Alcohol dulls my reflexes. You shouldn't consider giving it up yourself. Lucian shuffled some pages around. Looking at the demographics of the voters polled, our support amongst conservatives have plummeted. Good. It's not exactly the kind of voters that I want to court, but not good that we're losing voters. We can no longer count on their vote at all. The liberal base appears divided, but you do have a considerable number of supporters there. For better or worse, you certainly aren't popular with nationalists. You've won over many fans on the left, the socialists are on your side, good. You're said to have the highest share of the bloodish vote of any Swedish president. You're even winning them away from the WPP. Lastly, centrists and unaffiliated voters appear to be leaning in our direction. Okay, this is good actually. So what do you suggest? Lucian smiled and bowed his head slightly. Thank you, Mr. President. This may sound like common sense, but a convincing enough campaign can succeed where policies fail. Even if you opted not to focus on your campaign at the moment, I'd still advise you to seize every chance of exposure that you can. I'll take that into account. Good. On another note, there is a not insignificant portion of undecided voters who don't care who occupies the Maroon Palace as long as the economy is running smoothly. Mr. Hull's new plan could be key to winning them over. We must march towards a strong recovery. Good to know. Lucian nodded in acknowledgement. Stability is key to allow the economy to improve further. Currently, the country is still struggling to develop due to instability. There is one last thing you should know about. He looked over the door to make sure it was closed. I have reason to suspect that Leleas Graf will attempt to challenge you for the USP leadership. And how do you know? I've merely been keeping my ear on the ground as always. A spy, of course. At any rate, if my suspicions are true, you will need as many allies within the party as possible. Please keep this close to your chest, sir. You know how much power Miss Graf wields in these halls. Any other advice? That was everything on my end. Yeah, keep me posted on all the situations you mentioned. Certainly. I left the room to attend my next meeting. Wait, so things aren't going as bad as they could? Okay, polio disease controlled. That is excellent. Very, very excellent. Huh. Interesting. I don't like it, but it does bolster our economy, which we need right now. We very much need. Military industry grows, bolstered by Arcadian investment. Also, it helps us against Rumburg. Like we do not have the money for this shit. Key industries in the country, state investments could become more competitive and help for new industry in this initiative. Expand electronics industry and electronics industry boom in Gelsord. Okay, let's continue, shall we? Protect Women Act criminalizes domestic violence. Of course, don't like that it costs me money, but obviously I'm signing it. It was raining. A search dropped me off today at home after dropped me off at home after yet another grueling day of work. The guard held an umbrella over my head as I walked from the car to my front door. Inside the house was completely dark. I flipped on the light in the kitchen to find a note from Monica. Kara had called her in for last minute women's rights meeting. She dropped Diana off at a friend's and left me some food for reheating. I took the pot out of the fridge. It was filled with an unidentifiable grayish looking stew. Evidently, Monica's excellent cooking had been the first casualty of her political career. Let's reheat the stew. I sighed and put the pot on the stove. While it was heating up, I went to the living room to fix myself a drink. Suddenly the phone rang. I went back to the kitchen and answered it. Frank's voice went on the other end. Oh, I thought Mom would pick up. Off on her ladies' crusade. Your mother works harder than I do these days. Oh, right, she was actually in the papers over here. They're calling her fierce. That's cool. There was a long silence. I got that record you sent me. Not bad for old folks' music. You take that back. How's Uncle Peter doing? He and Evelyn are divorcing. Oh, bummer. Not exactly a surprise, though. Yeah. Have you made any friends yet? A few. They really helped me understand the culture here. So, how do you find the land of socialism? I mean, they're obviously doing something, right? But I guess you don't feel the same way since you made that deal with Lesbia. Hey, uh, that had nothing to do with that had nothing to do with my personal politics. It was simply the most convenient option. Well, it was the wrong move. Aligning with us is the only way forward. Us? Wow, dude is clearly going full on commie. It's us now. My head's been stuffed with Swordish propaganda since the day I was born. Right now, I feel like I'm thinking clearly for the first time. Don't. If you open your mind too much, your brain might fall off. So, while I like that you're getting into socialism and stuff, uh, maybe temper it a little bit. Uh, just stay away from Reefer. I'm happy you open your mind. Just stay away from Reefer. I suddenly became aware of a smoky smell coming from the kitchen. My dinner was burning. Uh, Good catching up with you, Frank. Yeah, okay, buy that. We both hung up. I raced to the stove and turned off the burner. Bottom of the pot was charred, but part of the mystery stew was still salvageable. I ate alone by the flickering light of the television, wondering when Monica and Dina would get home. Fuck, that's going down. Economy is going down. I do not like it. I do not like it one bit. Okay, political prisoners getting amnesty, good. Record number of female students, very good. Fair Trade Commission creates trade regulation. Debt crisis shocks the economy, yeah. Fuck. Police overwhelmed in remote cities. For fuck's sake, I gave them more budget. Fucking hell. Okay. Wine exports to Rizia. International airport opens. Low investment synergy reported. Yeah, should have invested in the agriculture. ESP obstruction intensifies. Excellent. Fucking excellent. Human dignity bill. What does this do? Unregulated existence of prostitution. Illegalizing prostitution. Don't really like it. Okay, no. Fuck off. Oh, fuck me sideways. Uh, uh, Shit. That's gonna be paid, right? Motherfucker. It was going good. It was going well. Oh, we're shit. Storm was on the horizon outside my window. The inside of my office, however, was very warm and cozy. I straightened myself on the sofa next to the fireplace and looked at Monsoon, who was sitting on the couch across from me. He was here representing all 8 bloodish members of the assembly. He had dark creases under his eyes from lack of sleep. As I said earlier, we've been working on this bill for a long time, Mr. President. I've always done my best to represent my people, only to keep getting blocked in the assembly. We can't have the same happen again. I've always brought my people's concerns to the Assembly and raised my voice whenever our rights were in question. All we ask is that the Assembly at least have a proper discussion. But all that we get is disrespect, MPs shouting racial slurs at us, not allowing us to speak, and it's not only the National Front. He stopped for a moment and repositioned himself on the seat. Having said that, there has been a lot of new developments since we last spoke. Despite failing to change the constitution, I should say that you earned the respect of the Bloodish Rights Movement. I must thank you again for fighting with us. And Governor Braun is still in charge of the Special Zone, free to continue his oppressive policies against the Bloodish community. He sighed. Something must be done about this. I don't even remember a time when Mrs. Story allowed me to finish a speech. The Assembly does not take us independence seriously. We need your help. I understand that discrimination against you is unacceptable. That's where your help would be very valuable. He gestured at the papers that I received from him earlier. All we need is your support for our bill. It's time to undo the mistake of the Sworded State against its citizens. I only ask you to help us make this single step for good instead of staying idle. Our proposal aims to form a committee for minority rights, and it will lift the ban on the Bloodish Freedom Party, as well as giving amnesty to all who were arrested for having ties to it. Their families are still waiting for them in Bergia. It's not Tarquin Solzara anymore. It's time we try to clean up the taint we left in our history. I agree with you completely. Thank you for representing this noble cause. Glad to hear it, Mr. President. He rubbed his chin. Sorry, so we have your support. Yes, I'll form the commission and sign your proposal as a decree. Thank you, Mr. President. He rose up and walked up to me. He extended hand. It means a lot, thank you. We shook hands. Suddenly, we heard a knock on the door and Lucian entered. Sir? I'm sorry, I thought your meeting was over. Mr. President was already decided. We can call it over. Mr. Galad, I was already leaving. Great, then we must go to the meeting room, sir. One of our new campaign advisors has some plans for the election. He's waiting for us. Let's go. Okay, even if everything else was shit, I could count with economic growth being on the right direction. But now we're fucked. Okay. Rumberg are getting inside our airspace. That is not good. I want to, but I don't have the money. And also that can be seen as corruption. Emergency call, an escalating situation. I was woken up in the middle of the night by a call from the Ministry of Defense. Due to the sensitivity of the information, I had to be urgently briefed in person. I put on my clothes as fast as I could. I rushed downstairs and opened the door. Serge was waiting for me. Mr. President, this way to the car, please. We got into the car and made our way to the Ministry of Defense building without a word. I arrived and was directed downstairs. I came to a set of large doors and quickly read the sign above them. The sign read War Room. The dimly lit room was filled with cutting-edge equipment, the latest video screens, long-range radio electronics, and other devices used for communication, presentation, and planning. The centerpiece of the room was a large round table with the coat of arms of Sorland engraved on it. David, Lucian, Vulcan, and Joseph were already deep in discussion. Mr. Lancia, I advise caution. Going to war wouldn't help anyone. We must maintain peace in Soylent and Eastern Mercop at all costs. What do you expect us to do? Sit around and do nothing? They are testing us. We must respond immediately. Otherwise they will think we are weak. Must respond immediately to what exactly? Mr. President, thank you for coming in at this late hour. There is a situation. Vulcan, please go ahead and provide your report. Mr. President, approximately 20 minutes ago, Rumberg downed one of our planes with anti-aircraft fire. From the ground, the pilot was declared KIA. The last recorded position of the plane was inside Sordish airspace. General Kruger, I mean no offense, but are we absolutely sure that this is the case? Are you sure this happened within our borders? No offense taken. Here are the locations on the map and the report from the airbase. He pointed to several markers on the map. To answer your question, yes, we are absolutely sure. You can see here on the map that the plane was down approximately 10 kilometers inside our borders. We have calculated the trajectory of the gunfire and they started firing when our plane was within our border. The plane was down near Helgen. We need to be cautious. War with Rumberg is the last thing we want right now. I completely agree. It looks like they are trying to lure us into their trap. We have enough military power to contest against this violation of international law. We should attack and down one of their planes in retaliation. Otherwise we'll look weak and it will lead to more casualties. We can't look weak. If we appear weak, they will jump on the opportunity. We must order a military retaliation immediately. I agree with the General. Mr. President, our army is ready to do whatever it takes to protect Sorland. Gentlemen, before it comes to that point, we can prevent further bloodshed by using diplomacy. The room fell silent before Joseph finally spoke up. Mr. President, what are your orders? Yes, invade. Approach this diplomatically and try to de-escalate the situation by any means. No one wants a war. Lucian stands up, shoulders relaxed. Thank you, sir. I will immediately begin working on it. With Mr. Wishi's capabilities, I'm sure that we will de-escalate the situation successfully. We will keep you updated on our progress. We should have retaliated. I hope the diplomatic response makes sure that further incidents like this are prevented. If there is a next time, I'm afraid that it will be war. We are showing weakness, of course it will be a war. The next time around. I am frankly disappointed, Mr. President. If we can't even retaliate after such an attack, what will become of this country in the future? Peace must be maintained at all costs. I am saying this as a man who has seen too many years of war. We are not the ones who are attacking the peace. Regardless, it looks like your decision has been made, Mr. President. I know when I am not needed. I will take my leave. Before he left the room, he saluted. Well, now that we know the way forward, I have an idea, Mr. President. I think we should hold a military parade to display our strength. I am with Mr. Lancy on this one. This should work well as a deterrent, and it will come in handy as a tool to de-escalate the situation. That is a good idea. Simple and effective without causing any ruckus. Sure, organize the military parade. Understood. That is all, Mr. President. I will keep you updated on the situation. For now, have a good night's sleep. You'll need it. I couldn't sleep at all that night. Okay, Velen raises concerns over Romberg posturing. Okay, Marcel Coronti investigation. Let's see. I was walking down the corridor towards my office on the way back from lunch. Right next to the door, Leleas, Nia, and Carl were waiting. They approached me. Mr. President, there has been an important update on the Coronti investigation. We entered the office. As an informant from HOS contacted us, he was identified as a low-level executive. Can we trust this informant? Carl stepped forward and bowed. We have interrogated him thoroughly and confirmed the information he gave us. We now have proof that a subsidiary of HOA, Coronti Holdings, Corinth Holdings, is a shell corporation engaged in money laundering for the Cornelli cartel. Over the past 3 years, approximately 15 million Swedish rand from the Cornelli's drug and weapons smuggling activities has gone through this corporation with Marcel Coronti's implicit approval. That settles it then. What's the plan? The time has come, frankly. We have been preparing for this possibility. Please follow us to the comms room. Nia gestured towards the door, and I followed the two women down the hall. We descended the spiral staircase at the very edge of the palace, close to where my office was located. Going through narrower corridors than upstairs, we came in front of a large door with a shield and goat carved on it. Nia opened the door and we entered. After taking our seats, she gave a sheepish look. Mr. President, I said we have been preparing for this opportunity, but that might have been an understatement. Our attack teams are ready to go. They've surrounded Mr. Coronti's villain Nessord. She nodded. Carl leaned forward and spoke into the microphone. Begin. We sat there for a few minutes waiting anxiously. Finally, Carl received the radio transmission. Mr. Coronti has been successfully captured. Oh, well done. Now that he's been arrested, Sutherland will have one less traitor. We will learn the truth from him directly. All of his contacts, everyone he has been dealing with. I want to especially confirm the rumor about his contact in the administration. We will squeeze every single drop of information we can out from him, one way or another. I'm looking forward to the results. We will bring them to you as quickly as possible. The news ought to break any moment now. This was all for today, Mr. President. We will keep you posted. Thank you for your time. Mr. President. They left one by one, and I made my way back to my office. Sutherland now felt a little bit safer now that Marcel had been taken care of. For how long, I wondered. Coronti links to Cornelli cartel confirmed. Urgent meeting on potential alliances. I was sitting right across from David in the White Room after he scheduled an urgent meeting. I knew that the matter must have been serious. He insisted on waiting for Yosef and Lucian, so we did. Lucian entered the room with Yosef by his side. Mr. President, we came as fast as we could. Mr. President, Mr. Vichy, what's going on? David cleared his throat. Welcome, everyone. Due to the potential ramifications, I wanted everyone to be present for this meeting. We have received an envoy from Arcadia. They are requesting a state visit. Judging from the current climate, it is not hard to see what this is about. Ato is always trying to expand his influence. After all, they will most likely try to convince us to join. In addition, as part of this state visit with Dwight Walker, we'll of course meet with you in person, Mr. President. Yeah, there's something we can gain from this state visit. With all due respect, are you out of your mind, Mr. Lancia? Watch your tone, Yusuf. I'm just saying that we cannot even consider accepting this. I bet he will come asking for a cooperation under the guise of enforcing their demands to join Ato. This will antagonize half of the world against us, and we are going to be at the forefront of the battle. If we are approaching this from the perspective of national defense, then don't. We are in a better shape than we were before. I assure you, we don't need any outside help, definitely not from Dwight Walker. We will make do somehow. Let's see what he wants first. I will decide when I talk to him. We need to be careful. Mr. Walker never gives anything for free. There will be some concessions, for sure. Mr. Vichy, you are our most experienced foreign policy expert. What's your take on this? What do you think is the right action? Rumberg is bound to increase diplomatic actions in the upcoming AN meeting. Back channels are reporting rumors about Queen Beatrice Livingstone meeting with military leaders in Thornburg. I am afraid it might not be possible to stand against Rumberg without strong allies. Soon we will have to take a side in this global rivalry to avert a potential conflict with Rumberg. And I recently found out that a planned meeting between the Queen and Chairman Malyanev of the United Contana, the Ato and President Walker might be the necessary evil to stop those things from happening. I say we should consider this offer very seriously. Lucian, what do you think? We heard our experts. You are the one who has to decide, sir. Okay, very well, accept our offer. I will send a response immediately. And there is a tiny detail we need to get over with. How should we welcome their delegation, sir? Plain welcome will suffice. They are the ones who are requesting this. As you wish, I have taken the note. I think that is all for today. Thank you for attending. As we dispersed, the world map hanging on the wall in the room caught my attention. I walked over to it. How often were the lines of the world map redrawn over the recent decades? What about the future? Okay, but we will leave the state visit for next episode. Thank you all for watching. Please do remember to like, comment, and indeed subscribe. I will see you all next time.